I was an intern at True TV, working on some of my favorite episodes such as Adam Rules Ruins Everything, The Carino Effect, my personal favorite, Impractical Jokers. It's a show about four friends who met all in boys' school, high school, and they all stay in an island in New York, and they complete a series of challenges, and whoever loses gets punished. Here's how the show starts. The Tender Lions, a comedy troupe with many views on social media and YouTube. Sal is a joker who is afraid of everything germs, cats, and more. Q is a former fireman and a bit of a comedic book geek. Murr is a ferret looking guy who Joker picks on a lot. Joe is a family man who has a wife and two kids. The show was a big hit, and I don't blame it. The challenges are funny as hell, and the punishments are hilarious, and even the jokers are very well done. It was a dream come true to me for me to work on the show, but there was one punishment that I will never forget. It all started in June when I was filming a punishment for Sal. Like I said, he was scared of everything, so we went on with the creepy one for him. Like always, the punishment took place in an old abandoned story house. What Sal do is go to a room and finds a random objects, and when he goes to every single room, something is there to wait for him. When he goes down the hallway, there will be two twin girls in the line saying, "Come play with us," from The Shining. But from one room, the old man says, woman who says, "One more night and it's night night forever." And then the master bedroom, the closet has Benjamin. You know that guy in the cat costume? The jokers told Sal what he had to do, of course, and Sal didn't like the punishment, but he had to do it. When he had the cameras turned to him, we could see his reaction. I was getting an unhealthy feeling about this, but I shrugged it off by saying to myself that it was only my first time aiming at a creepy house. But his punishment started. Here's how it began. We were outside of the house watching Sal through the wind monitors, so we could see what's going on. Sal went inside what seemed to be one of the hallways where the twins were. However, the girls were not there. The Joker saw this one on one of the monitors and asked the show's producer, Pete McParkland, "Where are they?" Pete said he didn't know. When we heard Sal say, "Oh my god," the Jokers thought the girls were surprising Sal. Joe asked what Sal happened, and he was just laughing. But Sal said the strangest thing. He said there was a show of a man walking. But everyone was confused about that one, including me. Q told him that there was no one else there, and Sal said it was bullcrap. Sal then continues the punishment, and then she was at the door where the old woman was at, and Murr told him to go in. Sal didn't want to go in, but he had no choice. It was a punishment. He opened up the door and was surprised by everyone. No one was there and was just rocking on the chair where the woman was supposed to be. She asked the Jokers if they were going to go easy on him on the punishment, and Joe tells Sal to go upstairs, and then he cut off the mic off and then asked Pete, "Where the hell is everyone?" Pete didn't know, and then was sent some of the crew members to look for him. So this was just the Jokers, Pete, and myself. Sal was going upstairs, and Q told him to go to the master bedroom. It was a long, dark hallway. Sal was walking towards the bathroom when he stopped in complete shock. He could see a guy walk into the bedroom. Everyone saw him. They were completely creeped out, and Sal said he didn't find it funny, and he wanted out of the punishment. The Jokers told him to finish the punishment, and Sal opened the door and saw a human figure lying down in a bed cover up. Sal was about creeped out by this and figured the others were planning on jump scaring him. Sal went near the bed and took the covers off, and what Sal saw made us all shook with fear. It was the woman with an axe. Of course, Sal screamed, "What the hell did this?" As I expected, Benjamin began to chase me out of the house. Not this. The Jokers were in complete shock and scared. Murr was having a panic attack. Q told Pete to call 911, and Joe told Sal to get out of the house. Sal was about to leave until he heard a thump from the closet. Sal opened the closet, and then Benjamin fell on him. Of course, Sal pushed the body off of him and looked at his hands that were covered in blood. Sal screamed as the Jokers as if it was fake blood. Then Sal looked up and saw a creepy guy in the closet with the two twin girls' heads by their hairs. And he saw the guy from the monitors. He was a creepy looking man. He had long black pants, an old white shirt covered in blood. He His face was pale and looked like a ghost. He had no hair on except for a 5 o'clock shadow, and he was very big. He dropped the head and said in a creepy voice, "Get out of my house!" The Jokers told Sal to run. Sal then ran to his life and dropped all the equipment that he had on him. He was then grabbed by the guy with the axe, and then there was an old woman starting to follow Sal. We were all panicking. Murph even fainted. Q even told us that we have to go in and help Sal. Joe argued that, saying that he has a family and he is not planning on dying today. Q argued back by saying, Sal is our friend and we have to help him. Joe carried Murr on his shoulders. Q grabbed the fire extinguisher as a weapon, and I didn't know what to do, so I grabbed my lunch and we went outside. And when we went outside, the crew members first said that Pete was all dead on the floor. This was the guy who doesn't play games. Sal was then still running down the halls, and then he heard a thump and made him freeze on his tracks. He looked behind and sees the guy at the other end of the hall with the axe, and Sal said, "I'm leaving, okay?" The guy then started to slowly approach Sal. Sal then again fell down to the stairs, bumping into Joe, Q, and I. Joe and still had Murr on his shoulders, and Pete was outside, waiting for the cops. Sal was just glad to see us. Then we heard footsteps walking down the hall, and we all started panicking again, and Sal said, "He's gonna kill us. We are all gonna die." To slow him down, I grabbed something that was in my lunch bag, and it was a blueberry muffin, and threw it at him. While he was getting the muffin crumbs off of his face, we all ran down the door. We finally got outside safe and sound, and Pete was relieved that we were okay. Then the guy stood at the door and said, "Don't come back," and then he slammed the door. When we heard sirens, help had arrived and the ambulance took the dead bodies away, and I checked on Murr. Luckily, he was passed out and the cops arrested the guy. Moments later, we all were at the police station, and the officer told us about the guy. Apparently, his name was Jacob. I can't seem to see his real name due to legal reasons. It turns out that Jacob broke out of a mental asylum for murdering his own family in cold blood. He didn't talk much, but all he kept saying is, "Can I go home?" The officers told him that we can't film at the house as it's a crime scene, and we could get shoot the punishment somewhere else. Joe, Q, and Murr looked at Sal for what he has done as punishment. And it was not the only punishment for Sal. It was a punishment for all of us. So the cops took the footage of the evidence and locked it up tight so no one will ever see it. It has been a year since the incident, and the Jokers have kept their mouths shut about it. So if you see them, do not say anything to them. I know I have to think about what I should tell you guys. I have seen some episodes in the past, and I looked a bit closer in the background. Who do I see in the background? It was Jacob. He was watching the Jokers when Q was sniffing the baby diapers where he was there. When Joe was Captain Fatbelly, there it was again. And when Murr had a skydive, he was also there. Every single episode, I watched every single one of them. And if you don't believe me, go back and rewatch the episode, and closer, he is always there. And that, my little pretties, was Impractical Jokers, The Lost Punishment. Practical Jokers, The Lost Punishment, lost episode, creepypasta, I guess you could say, written by Shane Hilden. Shane Hilden, thank you so much for writing this story. Thank you so much for writing this. This was highly appreciated. I really do enjoy it. This was awesome. So, with my final thoughts, well, to be completely honest, I actually found this story to be rather amazing and enjoyable. So I could definitely say, to you, Shane, this was actually a pretty well made story. It was creepy, yes, but the beginning seemed a little bit cliche, saying you were the person was an intern at a TV station or something, that is kind of excusable right now because it's actually believable, how people can actually sit there and see that. I know it's cliched, but, it kind of worked with the story somehow. You managed to make the story work with one or two cliches that I do know that are in there. I don't know what the blood is a kind of a cliche, but it's excusable. As long as it works well, then it should be fine. Like, this story was really freaky. Like, I had bone-chilling thoughts while I was reading this. Like, oh my god, this story was definitely something. That story was definitely something right there, Shane. This was awesome. A really, 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 really well-made story. I definitely have to say that this story, that was awesome. I really do like how the concept went out. The grammar was really well done, although it could be polished up a bit, because I believe I saw a few grammatical errors and punctuation errors, but that's not really a major thing per se. Just thought, I'd point it out. Well, I could definitely say that this story was actually really well made and detailed. It was, ooh boy, it was definitely something. Now, that was something I'm definitely saying that it was just amazing. Like, this story was actually really well made and detailed. Now, I could definitely say it was freaky, Sal going through his punishment and seeing, weird things happening. Oh my god, it was something. I didn't expect that to be the case, but that was definitely something. And, I'm definitely saying that now. That was definitely something. Okay. And if I had to say another thing I really do like was how, the storyline went out. Yes, I know the first paragraph was a bit cliched, but the rest of it just flowed out well. And that's why the first cliche I stated actually went out well. Now, I could definitely say it was really well done and made. It actually fits out amazingly with the story. It was, oh my goodness, it was just very well done and made. And I could definitely say, hey, right now, that this story actually fit out well. Now, I definitely have to say I haven't really, seen a whole bunch of, this. Like, I'm gonna say this right now, I don't know this show that well, so I really don't know it that well. But I could definitely say it's a really good pasta. A pretty good pasta. And it's a really amazing one, in fact. I know there were a few, I guess you could say, there were a couple of, grammatical errors, but, it wasn't really that big of a deal. It was actually a pretty interesting concept for what it was. It was actually amazing, really well made, and I actually found this story to be rather enjoyable. So I could definitely say I really do like how this story went out. It was amazing, really well done, and it's just amazing. That's always I have to say is that it was just amazing. So I could definitely say that this story actually went out well. So I guess I could just say right here, right now, that this story was actually awesome. And I really recommend you send it to Shadow Reader because I'm pretty sure that Shadow Reader would really like to see that. So I could definitely say I highly recommend you send it to Shadow Reader. I'm sure he'll really like this story. So I guess that's kind of all I have to say about the story. This was a great story. I really do like it. So I'm going to wrap up the review by saying a few things. This is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be a 10 out, I guess I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Great story, great concept, really well made. I love how this storyline went out. I like the grammar, although it can use some polishing up with some grammatical errors. But other than that, this story was actually really well made. It was readable. It was excellent. It went well. It was just, oh my goodness, it was just flat out amazing. So that is definitely something I'm saying. It was just amazing. So, I guess I kind of already explained what I, do like. So I'm going to sit there and, say right now that this story was actually pretty amazing. So, with that being the case, what did you guys think about this curry pasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so that you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out here. And I'll be catching you all in the next video. So peace out, everyone. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.